Hey guys, welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be looking at the practice questions for section number 2. This is again from the same test, from test number 1 from book number 14. And here we're going to be going over questions 11 through 20. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to play the audio tape now and I want you to follow along with me and answer these questions as we go through them together.
Section 2. You will hear a manager giving a welcome talk to a group of apprentices who are starting their training at the company. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
Alright, so here is our prep time. Here we read our instructions, advice, first week, apprenticeship, manager give. What does he say? Okay.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Janet Parker, and I'm the Human Resources Manager. We're very happy to welcome you to your new apprenticeship. I hope that the next 6 months will be a positive and enjoyable experience for you. I'd like to start with some general advice about being an apprentice. Most of you have very little or no experience of working for a big organisation, and the first week or so may be quite challenging. There will be a lot of new information to take in, but don't worry too much about trying to remember everything. The important thing is to check with someone if you're not sure what to do. You'll find your supervisor is very approachable and won't mind explaining things or helping you out. You're here to learn, so make the most of that opportunity. You'll be spending time in different departments during your first week, so make an effort to talk to as many people as possible about their work. You'll make some new friends and find out lots of useful information. As well as having a supervisor, you'll each be assigned a mentor. This person will be someone who's recently completed an apprenticeship, and you'll meet with them on a weekly basis. Their role is to provide help and support throughout your apprenticeship. Of course, this doesn't mean they'll actually do any of your work for you. Instead, they'll be asking you about what goals you've achieved so far, as well as helping you to identify any areas for improvement. You can also discuss your more long-term ambitions with them as well.
Alright, so now that we're done with these 4 questions over here, it's now time to move on to the next question set. So I'm going to be playing that second part of the section number 2 now.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
Okay, managers say each of the following company policy, apprentices. Okay.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Now, I just want to run through a few company policies for our apprenticeship scheme with you. Most importantly, the internet. As part of your job, you'll be doing some research online, so obviously you'll have unlimited access for that. But please don't use it for personal use. You'll have your own phones for that. Some of you have already asked me about flexible working. After your probationary 3-month period, some of you will be eligible for this. But it will depend on which department you're in and what your personal circumstances are. So please don't assume you'll automatically be permitted to do this. I want to make sure there's no confusion about our holiday policy. Apart from any statutory public holidays, we ask that you don't book any holidays until after your 6-month apprenticeship has finished. Time off should only be taken if you are unwell. Please speak to your supervisor if this is going to be a problem. You'll be expected to work a 40-hour week, but there may be opportunities to do overtime during busy periods. Although you're not required to do this, it can be a valuable experience, so we advise you to take it up if possible. Obviously, we understand that people do have commitments outside work, so don't worry if there are times when you are unavailable. As you know, we don't have a formal dress code here. You may wear casual clothes as long as they're practical. And the only restriction for shoes we have is on high heels for health and safety reasons. Comfortable shoes like trainers are preferable. There's a heavily subsidised canteen on site where you can get hot meals or salads cheaply. Snacks and drinks are also provided, so we've decided to introduce a no-packed lunch policy. This is partly to encourage healthy eating at work and partly to stop people from eating at their workstation, which is unhygienic. Okay, moving on to...
Alright, so we are now finished with this question set with all the questions from section number 2. So here, let's go ahead and make some remarks about these questions in this section number 2. So the first thing that you may have noticed here is that here our questions are divided into a set of 4 questions here, and then we have a set of 6 questions down here. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be evenly split. It may be split 50-50, 5 questions and 5 questions, or it may be 3 questions and 7 questions, or 4 questions and 6 questions. Okay, usually that's what we see. Alright, now here in the prep time, again, I was pressed on time, and this is something that you can expect. So what I decided to do here is I first went through my reading instructions, which is pretty straightforward here, and then I went ahead and started marking all the keywords that I thought were important, first for this question and then for this question. If I did have time, I would have went back and I would have also marked some keywords in the answer choices, but a lot of times you're not going to have that much time. So in this case, what I decided to do is I just ran my eyes over all these keywords from the answer choices or from some of these answer choices, and I just tried to hold some of these in the back of my mind as much as I could. But the main thing that I was really focusing on was the specific information that I was looking for. So in this question, or set of questions, question number 11 and 12, I was looking for specifically for the advice, for the 2 pieces of advice. Okay, that's the specific information I was looking for over here. And down here, I was specifically looking for what the manager says that the mentors can help with. Okay, so that's what I want to find out. What can the mentors help with? Okay, now here mentors is a good keyword. I should have marked that. I didn't have the time, but just because I didn't mark it doesn't mean that I did not pay attention to that keyword. Okay, I still had that keyword in the back of my mind. So you should do this. If you don't get a chance to mark certain keywords, you should still try to retain that information, try to hold that information. It's very important. All right. Now, these were the correct answers, and in the next video, we're going to break down why these were the correct answers. But for now, let's just move on to our second set of questions, questions 15 through 20. Here again, I was pressed on time and I marked the keywords that I considered to be the most important. And the most important keywords are the specific information that we're looking for. So what was the specific information in this case? Here, we wanted to know what the manager says about the different company policies. Okay, what does he say or what does she say? And here we have 3 answer choices, and whenever you have more questions than the answer choices, that means that some of them or all of them can be used more than once. Alright, now here again, I marked the keywords first in these answer choices over here. Since there's more questions than the answer choices, so I decided to go with this one first. In this case, I marked the keywords that I considered most important: encouraged, restrictions, and rules, specifically against the rules. Okay, let me go ahead and mark that in the yellow color. Rules, okay, against the rules. And then these ones, I didn't really mark the keywords here because we don't have sentences, so everything is important here. And also in this case, actually, they were going through the questions one by one. So it was easy for me to keep track of where we are in the audio tape. It was easy for me to follow along with keywords like internet, flexible working, holidays, working overtime, and so on. And you probably noticed this as well, right? So in this case, we didn't really have to mark the keywords. Over here, these keywords seem to me to be a little bit more important since these are much easier to keep up with. But here we have sentences. Okay, so that's why I marked these ones first, and then when I had time left, I went ahead and started to mark these keywords. I didn't get through all of them, but again, I still had these keywords in the back of my mind. Okay, I hope all of that is clear for you. Now, in the next video, we're going to be breaking down why exactly these are the correct answer choices, why we chose these as the correct answer choices, and some of the tricks and traps that were